Hello Tottenham fans, welcome to another video. And I mean, Mike, boy, you guys were pretty good in that game. My team Arsenal really struggled to break you down, and I think that was kind of a look into the future of what Thomas Frank will bring. A really strong structure, a team which can break out of that structure and then counter-attack. It was really effective, and we got to see a lot of really nice performances. But before I begin, give this video a massive thumbs up and hit the subscribe. It will be greatly appreciated. But let us start with a couple of individual performances which really impressed me, and I'm going to start with Jed Spence. I think he was genuinely incredible today, up against Bukayo Saka, up against Max Dowman, who is again one of our star boys, one of Arsenal's better players in terms of coming off the bench. He's so young, but he's so sort of going again. And Jed Spence was managing to deal with it. You know, he had 65 touches. He had 4 passes in the final third. Some really nice stats. 1 block, 3 clearances, 1 interception, 4 recoveries, only dribble past once, 10 defensive actions. It was really good. And you're looking at that 5 out of 10 defensive duels won. He won 50% of his battles up against Saka and Dowman. That is so good. Won 2 out of 3 aerial duels as well. That is a performance to be proud of. There's a lot of talk about Jed Spence with the signings of Adodgi, obviously, in recent years. Pedro Porro, will he sort of suit the Frank way of playing? Today he showed that he genuinely can. He genuinely can, you know, and it was playing at left back, a position which obviously is a bit awkward on his foot. He's more right-footed, but my word, he stood up to the play. And I think he's going to be a really crucial player for Thomas Frank, and somebody who Tottenham can rely on, somebody that Tottenham can look to in certain games, in certain moments, especially up against a really good left footer like a Mo Salah, like a Bukayo Saka. He will be so key because he will be sort of more weighted towards going into the inside and stopping that sort of left footer cutting in on their left side. But really good. Not even just him, but Pedro Porro was really good today, genuinely. Up against Martinelli, we've seen in recent matchups, Martinelli can sort of destroy Pedro Porro. Same with Trossard as well. He could destroy Pedro Porro. But he was really good. He had 58 touches, 2 out of 2 successful dribbles, 8 passes into the final third. I mean, some of the balls that he was playing into the channels for Son to chase, for Odegaard to chase, very good. This is a player who is going to be so good under Frank in terms of progressing the ball. Genuinely, Spurs have had issues in the build-up under Ange with the way he inverts his fullbacks, but Pedro Porro is suiting the way that Frank wants him to play. He can put those balls over the top. He can overlap if needed. He can sit back and play deeper like the Trent sort of balls into the boxes. Today was an eye-opener into what he will look like, you know, and there it is, 4 out of 8 accurate balls, very good. 9 clearances, 6 headed clearances, 12 defensive actions, 2 recoveries. And look at those ground duels and aerial duels won. That is so good. Pedro Porro had an absolute binder out there in terms of defensively. You know, it is so good to see him able to adjust again to a new manager, because it can be quite hard, you know, having a new manager, having to adjust from going inside the pitch. And this is the same with Spence as well. It can be a bit different. It can be a bit difficult, but both of them stood up to the plate genuinely and put in performances which were really noteworthy. I think, of course, again, Romero and Van der Ven are really good. We talk about how many times a season Spurs defense, maybe against under Ange more so, being so leaky. But the way Frank had them, you don't necessarily need to be a phenomenal defender. You just need to be able to mark the space, mark the areas. And that's what they did. Romero dueling up against Havertz, phenomenal. Van der Ven coming across to help Spence with Saka, very good. It's moments like these where you see that you can be a good defender and still be in a team like Spurs who like to attack and still play well. And almost gaslighted you guys into thinking you can't have a great attack and a great defense. You can. You genuinely can. And even in the statistics of the game, if I quickly go and look, Spurs had a lot of possession. You know, 44% is very good. They were still able to dominate. I think if I can find the first half stats specifically, because I think that is where Spurs had most of the ball. They were really dominating, you know, looking at those stats. 2 times hitting the woodwork, 6 total shots, effective as well. 4 shots inside the box. They were effective. They genuinely were effective. And the pass accuracy at 86%. Opposition half, 244 passes for Arsenal, 153 for Spurs. So more passes in the final third than in their own half. And that was with Ange. They would move the ball too much between their centre halves and not progressive quick enough. Be progressive as quick as you can. But let's look at some other really good performances. I thought Bentancur was good, but Sarr, my word, the way he was covering the ground. He had the most tackles with 5, the most duels won with 9. really good 85 minutes played. He had a 95% pass accuracy. I think he's my dark horse for the best performer under Frank. I really do. In that midfield where he needs energy and legs, we talk about Frank having Norgard and Damsgaard and Janelt. Janelt was more the leggy guy in there. Sarr can be that Janelt. 3 recoveries in there. Won 7 out of 10 of his ground duels and all of his aerial duels. This is a 22-year-old who is so, so good. He's so, so good. I genuinely don't get it. Whenever I watch Pape Sarr, I hear what the Spurs fans are saying. They're often not happy with his performances. But I'm genuinely always quite impressed with how he plays. He always plays with this authority and this confidence. And I genuinely really liked what I saw from him out there. Bergvall, again, really good. He was the most accurate passer, 96%. Kudus, I mean, my word, his ball carrying is insane. One of the most strong players that I've seen. He's so strong. Odobert as well. I know these ratings are showing low for Odobert, but he gave Ben White a tricky game. At him, aggressive, always going for it. I like to see that from a winger, and you're thinking about Richarlison. I think the issue showed there without a Solanke. Spurs, if they can get another centre forward, if they can get maybe a more experienced left winger, because I think Son is going to leave, and another 2 midfielders in there instead of Bentancur and Bergvall. I know Madison could play attacker midfielder, but another guy like a Paulinho who allegedly is in talks with Spurs, that would be really good. Then you guys are going to be set. I was so impressed with what I saw. Frank has you guys set up really well, and you guys can be certainly happy for the future.